Hey Internet, today we're going to be repairing and painting a Heroforge Dragonkin. So, I volunteered to paint a miniature for each of the folks in one of my D&D campaigns that I'm in, and not professing to be a professional painter, but if the alternative was gray or black or white, then I would be happy to paint the miniatures if they provided them to me. And at that session, when I picked up the miniatures to paint, I ended up dropping this miniature, and the arm broke at the wrist. So today we're going to fix it up like new. Hopefully, stay to the end of the video to see if that succeeds. And then we'll be painting it up. The player sent the color scheme they wanted over from their design, and let's jump right in. So first things first, I had a number of projects, and you can go see in the video that I did a ton of different things all at once with one batch of the thermoset plastic. So I've got that clamp that I set down. I pulled this excerpt from that video. That clamp, one side of the clamp is holding the sword arm out, and the other side is holding the miniature at the base. And then I prop up the clamps with either quarters or other pieces of miniatures or molds that I need to match the angle and everything, so that it once its connection points are painted in the liquid plastic, then it'll firm up and turn into that solid shape. So here you can see that has set just fine. The arm is actually stronger than ever with that thermoset plastic being on both sides of the broken wrist. So for a paint scheme, we're doing his shield and sword in red, as well as his tunic. And then I intend to use the little bit of dry brushing to make that black plastic cloak. Since it's black, which is kind of a more difficult one to make look like it has shadows, since black is black, I'll have a dark gray that I'm going to dry brush on to kind of bring the raises in the fabric out. Now this, I've never worked with the black plastic from Heroforge, so when I do Heroforge miniatures, I've so far only done download the STL and then send the files over to NerdHQ to have them 3D print for me. So it's subject to the resin of the day, or the resin that comes with that printer. But in this case, the black plastic, I'm not sure it's plastic, it might be a resin, or I'm not sure what the 3D print material is. That's the black one from Heroforge. But it painted really, really well. I wanted, since it's a black dragon and he's got a giant black cape, I wanted to try first to see if I could put paint directly on the plastic without priming it. Worked great, didn't need to be primed at all. The paint didn't form droplets or run off or anything like that, which was really nice compared to a couple of the last projects that I've had plastic that was paint phobic and didn't keep the paint. Then the next thing is he's got the white or the off-white, the claw color for the claws and teeth and the spikes. And I hadn't ever had a reptilian head that was smiling that you could see the teeth. Either their mouth was all the way closed or it was all the way open if they were yelling or spitting acid or something like that. But in this case, he's actually got the teeth bared, and so I overpainted the white, and then I painted black back into the space so that it would be a more manageable space. So Wrath is the name of the character in the campaign, and Wrath's story is he sort of got thrown in with a bunch of adventurers, and at first didn't have any idea what was going on around him, and everything was bizarre and terrifying. But in fairness, our group runs things crazy, and crazy stuff happens, and we chase after wild magic, and any number of things can happen. So, but since that time, he's kind of found his place in the group, and he's one of the front tanks when it comes to battle. And I really like this pose on the model where he's holding his sword out towards some sort of probably battle, but it could be, this would be the same posing for a statue as it would be giving orders or directions, or just taunting or directing enemy towards fighting. So I did do edge highlighting, which I didn't go all the way to the white because of it being red, and I'm still not really sure if the red sword is red because it is metallic metal that's red, or if it's a dragon scale that's been carved down, or if it is magical, or something like that caused it to be red. So I left that kind of I didn't make the choice, and I did sort of a lighter red for the edge highlight, which would just make it be for the generic color. The bottom part of the tunic, or the whole tunic, really came out at first while I was painting it. I was worried it was going to turn out looking like plasticky with the reflection, since I mixed in a little bit of the gunmetal that I like to do for my metallic. Since I don't have metallic colored paints, I mix the gunmetal in with whatever the color is. And but when they're dried, the matte finish returned, and it looks really good. I did the dry brushing, same dry brushing that I did on the cape. I also went down into doing across the top of the feet, so you can kind of see where those scales layer down across the feet down towards the claws. And then touched up the base and hit the spots where I had blotched paint, and the rest is history. Let's get up that final. So this is one of my first times using my new turntable, which is fun. So, but there you can see I have highlighted the cape so that it's got a little bit of a dimension. So I really like how this turned out. I like how the eyes and mouth are visible but not cartoonish. And there it is still. So this was a lot of fun to work on, and hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe. And you can support on Patreon or buy us a coffee, buy me a coffee. And appreciate you watching. And we've got a couple more of these, so you can look forward to this. This is going to be sort of a mini series separate from the regular weekly multiple series that we have that come out each week. But this one I've got Tadeo Salazar to do, as well as Displacer Beast for one of the other players' pets. So there'll be a couple of them coming. You can watch for that. And thanks again, Internet. We'll see you next time.